I didn't want to waste my time with a clown, my father told me when I proposed to a girl. My name's Calvin, I'm 34, and what started as a simple engagement turned into the unraveling of every thread that once held my family together. I'm not one for drama, and I certainly didn't expect to become the central character in something that feels like a modern-day family parable, but here we are. Let me give you a bit of background before diving into the moment everything broke. I never went to college. At 18, I started working as a tech for a small heating and cooling company here in Missouri. I liked it well enough, and I had a knack for both the mechanical side and the people side of the job. When I was 24, I scraped together enough to launch my own small operation. It was tough at first. I slept in the back of my truck more than once. But I was lucky to have a few people who believed in me. One of them was my younger sister, Janine. She lent me $2,000 from her college savings when I needed to cover payroll one winter. I never forgot that. Fast forward 10 years. My HVAC and solar company now has 20 employees, covers multiple counties, and turns a healthy profit. I've got a modest home, a dependable crew, and a fiancée who's been my rock since day one. Her name is Elise. She's a nurse practitioner in the ER. Strong, independent, compassionate to a fault. She didn't grow up with much, worked through school, and doesn't believe in taking more than she's earned. That's something I deeply respect about her. Unfortunately, my family has never really taken to Elise. They think she's distant, too blunt, and that she doesn't blend with our family dynamic. But the truth is, Elise sees things for what they are. She sees the way my family relies on me, not out of necessity, but out of habit. Over the years, I've been the financial safety net for just about everyone in my family. My parents are in their late 50s. My dad lost his factory job 5 years ago and never found work he liked since. My mom works part-time in retail and spends like she's still in her 30s. They fall behind on bills, often mortgage, utilities, insurance, you name it. I've been quietly filling in the gaps because, well, it's what family does. Or so I thought. Janine, now 28, is getting her MBA. She's always been the one who made the family proud. Honors, scholarships, the first real professional, as my mom likes to say. What my parents don't mention is that I've been paying Janine's rent, tuition, and car insurance for the past 3 years. When I say paying, I mean fully. Her downtown apartment is $2,100 a month, but she says she needs to be close to opportunities. I pay it. I've never asked her for a dime back. Because I remembered that $2,000 when I needed it. Because I wanted to be the guy who did better for his family. Because I thought they appreciated it. Then I proposed to Elise. It was quiet, intimate, just us at her apartment after a long hospital shift. She was still in scrubs when I handed her a takeout box with the ring inside. No grand gestures, just honesty and love. She cried. I cried. It was the happiest moment of my life. That's when things began to turn. I called my parents first. My mom's immediate response, "Did you get a prenuptial agreement?" My dad followed with, "You sure you're not rushing into this?" Janine didn't call or text. 2 days later, she sent me a message that just read, "Is Elise pregnant?" No congratulations. No excitement. Just suspicion and cynicism. 1 week later, my parents called with what they called an exciting idea. They wanted to plan a trip to Bora Bora to celebrate my engagement. At first, I was shocked. My parents have never left the country, and they constantly struggle to afford basic bills. I asked how they'd afford something like that. They told me that I'd be paying for the trip. Not only that, but Elise wouldn't be invited. They explained that she makes people uncomfortable and doesn't really understand our family traditions. This trip, they said, would be just the 4 of us, me, Janine, Mom, and Dad. A celebration of family. I laughed, genuinely thinking they were joking. But they weren't. They said it was only fair since the engagement was my milestone. When I pointed out that Elise is my future wife, my dad said, "She's not family yet. This is about the people you were born into." I told them no. Firmly. Respectfully. I said I wouldn't exclude my fiancée from a celebration in her name, nor would I fund a luxury vacation under such circumstances. Cue the guilt trip. Mom started crying on the phone, saying she's always dreamed of seeing Bora Bora and that this might be the last time we could all go together before everyone moves on. Dad reminded me of every favor he's ever done for me since I was 5. When that didn't work, Janine called me during a baseball game. She said I was overreacting. That the trip wasn't about excluding Elise, it was about preserving our core. That I'd changed. That Elise was replacing us in your heart. I told her no again. I reminded her of the respect I've shown and the boundaries I now need. She grew cold and ended the call with, "You're going to regret this. One day, you'll see what you threw away." I didn't respond. A few days later, I got a text from my dad: "Real men don't let outsiders tear their families apart. Family is forever. Girlfriends aren't." I didn't reply to that either. Then came the silence. No calls. No messages. Just nothing. For a few days. Then one afternoon, I logged onto Facebook. The first photo I saw was Janine on a beach, white sand, blue waves, umbrella drink in hand. My parents were behind her, smiling. There were more pictures, them boarding a plane, lounging in a resort pool, enjoying boat tours. Captioned with, "A perfect day with the people who really matter. No fake smiles. No clowns." My heart sank. I stared at it, feeling a mixture of shock and cold realization. They went anyway. They took the money I gave them, for bills, for rent, for tuition, and used it to take the exact trip I refused to fund. I commented on the photo. One word. Why? My dad replied minutes later. Didn't want to waste time on the clown who forgot who really matters. That's when I knew. They didn't just ignore my decision. They mocked it. Mocked me. And that was the moment everything changed. After reading that comment, "Didn't want to waste time on the clown who forgot who really matters," something shifted inside me. Not rage. Not even sadness. It was clarity. The kind of clarity that takes years to reach. I had spent the last decade building a life, helping my family whenever they asked, and trying to prove that success didn't mean leaving anyone behind. I gave and gave, thinking that one day they'd see me as more than just the kid brother with a wrench. Instead, they saw me as a bank. A bank with no withdrawal limits. I didn't reply to the comment. I just typed one more line. "Surprise waiting for you when you get back." Then I closed my laptop and got to work. I started with the numbers. That night, I opened my accounting software and pulled up every transaction I'd made on behalf of my family. I'd never really looked at it all in one place before. The totals stunned me. Janine's tuition payments, $42,000 over 2 years. Her apartment rent, $2,100 a month for 3 years. Her car insurance, $180 per month for 30 months. Credit card bailouts, laptops, phone bills, more than $12,000. Then my parents. Mortgage supplements, $1,500 to $2,000 every few months. Utility bills, car repairs, medical copays, another $35,000 over 5 years. Vacations, holidays, unexpected emergencies, hard to even count. Altogether? Over $200,000. And I had receipts for nearly every dollar. I printed everything. Highlighted it. Filed it into folders. Elise walked into the home office as I was finishing up. She didn't say anything at first, just looked at the papers, then at me. "You finally done?" she asked. I looked up. "Yeah. I'm done." She nodded. No smugness. "No, I told you so." That's one of the reasons I love her. She's never needed to be right. She just wants me to stop hurting. "What's the plan?" she asked, pulling up a chair beside me. No more money. No more bailouts. No more silence. For the first time in years, I had no hesitation in my voice. I was about to take my life back. The next day, I started making calls. First was Janine's landlord. I told him I wouldn't be responsible for any more rent. The next month was her problem. Then the university billing office. I removed myself as the guarantor. She'd now owe the remaining tuition for the semester, $21,500 on her own. Then came my parents' mortgage company, utilities, auto insurance, and even medical providers. One by one, I stepped back from everything I'd propped up for them. With every call, a weight I didn't realize I'd been carrying lifted. By the end of the week, I felt 10 years lighter. And then, of course, they got home. It was a Sunday evening when it happened. At 7:15 p.m., Elise and I were watching a movie when we heard pounding at the front door. Not knocking, pounding, like someone was trying to break the frame. Elise answered it before I could get there. On the porch stood my mom, dad, and Janine. They looked miserable, sunburned, exhausted, and absolutely furious. My mom barged in without being invited. "What have you done?" she shouted. Megan stood firm. "He didn't do anything. He just stopped doing everything." My dad took the softer route. "Son, we came home to some very concerning notices: the mortgage company, Serena's school, utilities. Almost like you can't afford your lifestyle without me, I said calmly. Janine pushed past them, her face streaked with tears. I'm going to get kicked out of school. I owe the bursar over $21,000. I shrugged. Maybe sell some of the designer clothes I paid for. Or that iPad you only use for social media. You know I can't afford that, she cried. Why is that my problem? My mom turned to Elise. This is all your fault. You poisoned him against us. Elise didn't flinch. No, I just didn't feed the illusion that this was normal. We're family, my dad insisted. Family supports each other. I laughed. That's rich, coming from the man who excluded my fiancée from a family vacation. Who forged my trust. Who took money meant for tuition and bills and used it for massages in Bora Bora. I pulled out my phone and showed them the post. No clowns, right? That's me you're talking about. The one who's been covering your expenses while you mock me online. Janine sobbed. What about everything we did for you? You gave me $2,000 once. I've given you $200,000. Want to compare? My dad tried to square his shoulders like he used to when I was a kid. Didn't work anymore. You don't get to decide. Actually, that's exactly what I get to do. My mom grabbed my arm. You can't do this to us. Take your hand off me, I said, quiet but firm. She backed off. She'd never seen me like this. Get out. All of you. You're going to regret this, Janine whispered. Maybe. But at least I won't regret pretending you respected me. They left, furious, yelling, crying. Accusing. But they left. And I shut the door behind them. The following day, my phone exploded. Calls. Messages. Emails. All of them variations of the same theme. How could you? This is your family. You're turning your back on your own blood. I blocked every number, filtered the emails, and let the voicemails fill up unanswered. But they didn't stop. My cousin Lonnie messaged me to say my aunt was deeply disappointed. Old family friends weighed in on social media, siding with my parents and Janine, repeating things I never said and defending things they never saw. The hardest part? I didn't care. I'd finally stood up for myself. But the chaos wasn't over. About 2 weeks later, I was working late at the office. Everyone else had gone home. I was finishing a bid for a big municipal project when I heard the front door creak open. We'd locked up for the night. I called out, "We're closed." Footsteps echoed down the hallway. Then she appeared. Janine. Her hair was disheveled, her eyes puffy, her shoulders slumped. But the moment she saw me, she tried to stand tall. "Calvin, please," she said. "You have to help me." I leaned back in my chair. I don't have to do anything. They're going to kick me out of school. I'm going to lose my apartment. Everything I've worked for, it's all falling apart. What exactly have you worked for? I asked. I paid for your school. I paid for your apartment. Your car. Your health insurance. Everything. All while you told the world you were self-made. She looked ashamed. For once. I just wanted to impress my friends. By discrediting me? I pulled up one of her old posts on my phone. So grateful I've never had to rely on anyone else. Not everyone in my family can say the same. That about me? No, I mean, maybe. I didn't mean it like that. Here's another, first in the family to have a real job, not just fixing furnaces. That one? Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I was angry. Jealous. You started your company and everything just worked out for you. And I've been struggling. Struggling? I said sharply. You've been on easy mode for years. You've never had to pay a real bill, worry about late fees, or stretch meals. I shielded you from all of that. And instead of gratitude, I got lies and insults. She tried one more angle. We're family, Calvin. Blood. You can't just turn your back on us. I leaned forward. Watch me. Her face twisted into something I hadn't seen before. It's her, isn't it? Elise. She turned you against us. Don't bring her into this. Why not? She's the one who convinced you to leave us. You know what she is, Calvin. A gold digger. She saw an easy target and latched on. She doesn't love you, just your money. I stood. Get out. You're going to regret this. You're going to wake up and realize you gave up your real family for someone who doesn't care about you. I was already dialing building security. They escorted her out while she kept shouting that I'd betrayed her, betrayed the family. I didn't respond. But I didn't sleep that night either. The next day, Elise didn't come home on time. I tried not to worry, figured she got held up at the hospital. But when I walked in the door, she was standing in the kitchen, holding an ice pack to her face. Her left eye was swollen. There was a cut across her cheek. My heart dropped. What happened? Your sister, she said quietly. Janine had waited for her in the hospital parking garage. When Elise tried to walk past, Janine grabbed her, screamed at her, and hit her in the face. She said I ruined everything. Said I turned you against them. When I tried to leave, she shoved me into the car and started swinging. Did you call the police? Yes. Filed a report. They're looking for her now. I reached for my phone, ready to call my parents and make sure they knew exactly what Janine had done. But Elise stopped me. Don't, she said. That's what they want. They want to draw you back in. They want to make you emotional desperate to fix everything. It's how they always win. She was right. So instead, I stayed with her. Cleaned her wound. Held her while she rested. The next morning, 2 officers came to our house. They took Elise's statement again. Took photographs of her injuries. Gave us paperwork for a restraining order. One of them said, "We picked up your sister last night. She's being charged with misdemeanor assault." Good. It wasn't enough. But it was something. That night, I called Frank, my lawyer, a former college roommate turned legal bulldog. I explained everything. The loans. The stolen money. The assault. And then he asked, "Has anything unusual come up recently? Bank statements? Loans you don't remember signing?" I paused. A few weeks earlier, I'd received a notice from a regional bank congratulating me on a $70,000 line of credit. Except I'd never applied for one. Frank looked into it. He called me back 2 days later with the bombshell. "Your name is on the loan. So is your dad's. The signature they have for you is a fake." I was stunned. "You're telling me they forged my signature?" "Yes. I'm bringing in a document examiner. But from what I've seen, it's a near-perfect lift from one of your old license forms. Probably something your father had access to when he helped you with the early paperwork." 5 days later, it was confirmed. 100% forgery. Frank sat me down. "We can go to the police and press felony fraud charges. That's open and shut. Or what? We used this to negotiate a full financial settlement. Every penny you ever gave them, tuition, rent, bills, repaid. In exchange for you not filing criminal charges." I thought about it. Sending them to jail might satisfy a part of me, but it wouldn't undo the years of damage. What I really wanted was closure. And accountability. "Do it," I told him. Frank moved fast. He drafted a demand letter that laid everything out clearly, legally, and without emotion. The forgery of my signature on a $70,000 loan. Screenshots of vacation photos funded with misappropriated money. Payment records totaling $214,763.41 over the past 7 years. A warning: settle the debt or face legal consequences, including felony fraud and defamation. We gave them 5 business days to respond. They didn't wait that long. The next afternoon, Frank got a call from a newly retained attorney representing my parents. My dad wanted a meeting. I refused to attend. "You don't have to," Frank said. "That's what I'm here for." He met with them the following day and called me right after. "They're terrified," he said. "They know they're cornered." The lawyer didn't even try to deny the forgery, he just wanted to talk repayment. They proposed a plan. Sell the house, they still had equity. Cash out part of their retirement accounts. Janine would sell her car. They'd wire a lump sum of $163,000 within 2 months. The remaining $51,763.41 would be paid over 24 months in installments of $2,156.81. I asked Frank, "Can we enforce it if they miss a payment?" "Absolutely. Liens, asset seizure, and a reactivation of criminal charges. We'll make it airtight." I agreed. Not out of spite. Out of necessity. They thought I was a resource, not a person. Now, for the first time, they were going to feel what it was like to carry the burden they so freely passed to me for years. 2 months later, the wire arrived. $163,000. I met Frank at his office to sign the final paperwork. He slid the cashier's check across the table. Beside it, a sealed envelope from their lawyer. Inside was a short note. This has caused deep pain. We hope one day you can forgive. Please consider reducing the monthly amount, it's putting a strain on everyone. I didn't respond. They're lucky they're not in prison, I told Frank. If they miss a single payment, we push for the maximum. Megan and I used a small portion of the funds to build a stone patio and fire pit in our backyard. The rest went into investments and a dedicated fund for the future family we hoped to build. Every month, like clockwork, $2,156.81 landed in my account. Every month, I remembered. Not with bitterness, but with resolve. 3 months later, I ran into my mother at the hardware store. I was picking up supplies for a job. She was in the paint aisle, looking older and more worn than I'd ever seen her. She saw me. And instead of walking away, she walked over. "You look good, Calvin," she said softly. "Thanks. How's Elise?" "She's great. We're great." She nodded, then hesitated. "Your father's working nights now. Security job. Janine's living with us while she saves. We're thinking about moving to Arizona." Janine got offered a retail management position. "Good for her," I said. Then she asked, "Was it worth it? Destroying the family over money?" I stared at her. "Is that really what you think happened?" She didn't answer. So I continued. "Who stole money meant for tuition and bills to take a secret vacation? Who forged my signature on a loan? Who physically attacked my fiancée and left her with a black eye? You're asking me if it was worth protecting myself?" Her eyes glistened. "We made mistakes." I nodded, pushing my cart toward the exit. She placed a hand on the handle. "Will you ever forgive us?" I looked her straight in the eye. "I didn't ruin anyone. I just took back what was mine. That's the only forgiveness you're getting." As I walked away, I added, "And tell Janine if she sends me one more letter asking for help, I'll add the ER bill to the settlement." That night, Megan and I sat by the fire pit. She leaned her head on my shoulder. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I was just thinking, for years, I thought I was helping them. But really, I was enabling them to treat me like I didn't matter." She nodded. "You did what you had to do. We didn't say anything else. We didn't have to. I wasn't the clown anymore. I wasn't the family fixer. Or the bank. Or the guy they could guilt into giving up his future. I was just a man who built something and finally decided to protect it. That was enough." Thank you for watching the video. Like it if you watched the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.